Good afternoon to you. I'm Danilo Evangelista, and welcome to our tropical weather outlook video for today, Thursday, July 3rd, 2025. Let's start off with the National Hurricane Center homepage in the Atlantic. We have our moderate chance area of interest here off the southeast coast, which is looking more and more likely that it could potentially develop into a tropical system or subtropical system this weekend before it moves onshore or stays within the vicinity of the southeast coast. And this could also be a pretty big rain deal for the southeast as well. I'll go over that in a moment, and it's important that we go over that too because the number one impact when it comes to tropical systems is rain, and regardless of if this does develop or not, there will be impacts, and of course, that is the rain, the flooding, and even if this doesn't develop, that'll be a nuisance and probably cause troubles in and of itself. So I'll go over rain and what to expect in just a moment from the system. But yeah, keep in mind, we have a 60% chance of development. And even in the tropical weather bulletin here, it says in the last sentence, regardless of development, heavy rainfall is possible across portions of the southeast U.S., particularly west central Florida coast. And I should also note that there's probably going to be a lot of people across the south and southeast this weekend because tomorrow, of course, is July 4th. So that is even more of a reason to talk about the impacts besides whether or not this will develop, which we will do in a moment. First, let's take a look at what's happening in the Eastern Pacific. We have Tropical Storm Flossie. This is at 45 miles per hour. It's decaying. It's going to be out of our hair very shortly, so I wouldn't focus on Flossie anymore. There is another area of interest, though, that has a 40% chance of development within the next 48 hours and a high chance, 80% chance of development within the next week. As I've been saying for the last few days, the gravy train of activity in the Eastern Pacific will continue, and this likely will become our next named storm and probably even become maybe a decent hurricane again in the Eastern Pacific. The next name on the list for them is Gil, G-I-L. Very interesting name indeed. Here's a satellite image of the Atlantic, just generally going over what's happening right now. Not much happening in the Eastern Atlantic. Nice little tropical wave here entering the Western Atlantic into the islands. It's probably going to bring some heavy rain, and gusty winds to them. And then the rest of the Caribbean is nice and quiet. And then you have here off the southeast coast our frontal system, and we are especially watching in particular the southern end of this frontal system where you see there's convective activity over the northern Bahamas and over Florida right now. And this particular area is where we're going to be watching for any potential energy to consolidate. And you can see on the 850 millibar vorticity, you can see there's especially a lot of vorticity over Florida right now, kind of still strung along this front that's moving off the East Coast. But the general synopsis of what's going to happen is what a low pressure will try to develop on the southern end of this front here, will break off from the rest of the front, become its own lone low pressure area, and then we'll have to watch over the next several days to see whether or not it will be able to consolidate over the very, very warm sea surface temperatures of the southeast coast, especially along the Gulf Stream, as I showed you for the past several days before. It'll probably move inland and potentially bring lots of heavy rain to portions of the southeast. And I just want to really quickly want to show you environmental wise, this will definitely have a favorable wind shear environment. I mean, looking at the southeast coast right now, slightly kind of a little bit of a narrow area here, but there are low wind shear values. And maybe through portions of the central and southern Bahamas, the wind shear is higher, but I imagine that those values will probably be decreasing very soon. I mean, this map is a snapshot of what the wind shear looks like right now, but you have to remember the atmosphere is fluid, it's not stagnant. So just because we have very strong wind shear right now doesn't mean that it will go down. It won't go down in a matter of the next few hours, and it probably will. So this will have decent wind shear to work with, which is favorable. This will have very warm sea surface temperatures. And as I mentioned before, impacts-wise, this will also be a very significant storm. This is the Weather Prediction Center map for rainfall for the next 7 days. and look at how much rainfall that we're going to have off the southeast coast. Portions here off the Carolinas coast, including South Carolina and North Carolina. Look at that, as much as an inch to maybe even 2 inches of rain. That's, pretty significant. But especially here over Florida, widespread areas where we could potentially see over 3 to 4, maybe even 5 inches of rainfall across a good portion of the Florida peninsula. And this is going to happen over the next week. And it starts right now. I mean, we already have, as I showed you on the satellite imagery, already have a lot of thunderstorms popping up over the Florida peninsula. And those are definitely bringing some heavy rain, gusty winds, and, nuisance weather. And that has an impact on its own. It could take the life of somebody. You never know. Just because this is not a already designated system does not mean that there won't be any major impacts to talk about. And as clearly as you can see, there will be a lot of rainfall across the southeast, especially along the southeast coast over the next week. And that is definitely going to be a result of the system, regardless of whether it develops. So let's take a look at the GFS now to see how it shows in terms of actual development. And you can see here, at least on the 12Z GFS, you can see we have a low pressure that tries to develop off the southeast coast, breaks off from the frontal system as it continues eastward across the Atlantic, away from the east coast of the U.S. And then eventually, this surface low here that develops off the southeast coast tries to consolidate, although it interacts with the coast a lot, so it's not able to fully consolidate much, maybe while it's in the vicinity of the southeast U.S. And then the GFS shows beyond that, kind of shows that eventually it then disintegrates and then gets absorbed into this larger low pressure that ends up kind of taking it out. And the GFS, if I were to look at this, I would probably say not very keen on development of a major kind of system, but they do show some development nonetheless. You can see that there is a surface low in here that does try to develop, and regardless, as I said, it's going to bring lots of heavy rain, especially to the east coast, so we'll have to keep in mind of that, obviously. Here's the 60 euro, and they also kind of show the same situation. Something try to consolidate here, and even if something does consolidate, I should note, it'll probably be weak. I mean, you can see on both of the models, on both here, the European and the GFS, both of the systems remain weak. They remain broad. They interact with the coast a lot, so that'll definitely impede on, potential development, or at least development of this system becoming strong of some sort. But nonetheless, it will be something that does try to develop, and obviously it will bring lots of heavy rainfall to the southeast, and then eventually, as we head into early next week, this system moves away, gets absorbed into some sort of bigger system that I imagine is probably over the northeast, and then all the energy associated with that gets absorbed and then kicked off out into the northeast and out of the hairs of the southeast as we head into early next week. So we'll have to we'll have to watch and see what exactly develops. Is it going to be Chantal, or is it just going to be some sort of slop that does try to develop but that is unsuccessful at doing so? Well, at least if you believe the National Hurricane Center, we have a 60% chance of development within the next week, so I guess that tells you that it's more likely than not that it could probably develop. Probably will be weak, though, especially looking at both the GFS and the Euro. But regardless, keep in mind, there will be lots of heavy rainfall, and I'll certainly continue to emphasize that over the next several weeks. With that being said, though, it's just a matter of wait and see now to see how this develops, and I'll continue to keep you updated on my channel, doing these videos every single day. So please, if you are not yet subscribed to my channel and you're just seeing this video for the first time and you're interested in information like this, please take the time to subscribe, like, and also share this video as well with others that you think might find this kind of content useful. And if you find it useful as well, which I hope you do, and follow me on YouTube, follow me on Twitter as well. I also post updates there, and I'll definitely post more updates probably later today, especially tomorrow on this system. So stay tuned for that. With that being said, I'm going to end it off for today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your 4th of July as well, since that is tomorrow. I will do a quick video tomorrow, so don't worry about that. But if you're not going to watch tomorrow, just giving you a advance happy 4th of July to you all. Have a good rest of your day. Stay safe. Peace, love, and kindness to you all. I will see you back here with more tomorrow.